There we go. Some frangipani, also known as plumeria in America, I think. Plumeria, and some orchids. These grew somewhat wild in Guam.
Like sweet peas almost.
Yeah. And I think it's in the garden at the Serviceman's Club. This was across the road from where we lived, gravel road that is.
What year was this?
This was 1969. We married in June 69, so it's the last half of that year. I left just after Christmas to come home. We lived up the top of this cliff. There was the cliff and then the Serviceman's Club, a small road, and then our place. This was looking across the bay. I think it's looking down to Epau Beach, you'll see in a bit.
How do you spell it? Epau?
Epau is, I think, Y-P-A-O, but I wouldn't be sure of that. And it's where at that stage, only one Japanese honeymoon hotel was. It's now lined with a chain of them, according to the internet. And it's down there, one of the good beaches. Agana is a little bit behind us, up to the left instead of looking to the right.
So was this thing a suburb or something, or it was like right on the outskirts?
Oh, look, Agana probably was, I don't know.
So what's this?
This is the Serviceman's Club, I think. Yeah, it's a bit hard to remember after about 35 years. And Agana was a very small place. They had one set of traffic lights in town.
Aggressive hope machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's Epau Beach again. The whole of Guam is only about 30 miles long and between 2 and 8 miles wide. Things grew profusely because it was tropical, very close to the equator.
So did you have a garden and everything then?
No, no. No one had gardens.
So did you have to walk up and down that
No,
step?
never had to go up and down those steps. I don't think I ever did it once. Because we drove round and went down to that road that's down below. That was the main sort of beachfront highway on that side of the island.
Did you ever go in that lookout pit then with the thatched roof?
I don't remember.
Oh, that's a gecko.
There's a gecko, a little lizard, on either the roof or the floor of our place, which was in fact the garage of an old house. And we got it rent free in return for John doing it up and making it livable. And we just painted the bare boards on the floor. That could have been the ceiling, I have to say, as well.
So did you have them coming in all the time?
Yeah, they just were permanent residents. You could never get rid of them. There's our house. Dad's motorbike parked at the front. That little room sticking out we didn't have. That was just a shed, and we didn't have all the back of it. And that one down the back isn't ours either. There's the hedge over there. That's the Quonset hut just vanishing. People lived in all of those. We're going to look around now up the road. There's the church, Bayview Baptist Church, and the hall. Serviceman's Club maybe just there. Across the water. That was either the Serviceman's Club there and the pastor's house just down the road, or that was the pastor's house, I can't remember. We went down that road round the bend onto one of the main highways that went up the hill. There's a plane coming into land at Anderson Air Force Base, but it shared, the international airport was there. It's inside our house. We couldn't afford much, so we got shower curtains as being the only thing we could put. The holes around the bottom are purpose built and with a little cover to stop the rain coming in, but it was good ventilation. We just had the one door.
So where did you get all the furniture from?
Oh, scrounged it. This is in our bedroom, as I remember. We only had one small air conditioner. Oh, just the air conditioner, just the bedroom. Okay. Tiny kitchen, tiny bathroom, and the bedroom was in the corner of the one big room which made the lounge dining sort of area. Wasn't very big. There's the kitchen, toaster, little stove in the corner, the fridge.
Funny salt and pepper shake.
Oh, there's the stove, beg your pardon. Yeah, there's the stove. The door was there, you can see.
Yeah.
The stove had two ovens, but only one worked. Everything was old, second-hand, whatever. There's more water.
Yeah.
It's across the road again, I would think. That might be the vicarage down there, or whatever you want to call it, the minister's house, I'm not sure. Banana trees, but mostly they didn't fruit. Just about all the bananas were imported from somewhere in South America by plane, when they could have grown them wild on the island, but didn't bother.
And it's a flame tree, is it?
Yeah, flame tree, looking down across Agana. There's one of the wild things outside our kitchen window, I think, our bedroom window,
So why
with the air
do you have
conditioning.
gardens? It seems like if everything grows there, you would have gardens.
Well, the people didn't bother. It was much easier to get handouts. And most of
flowers. I'm not talking about. Gee, Mum, I'm not talking about like growing vegetables. I'm talking about flowers, like
well,
making a house.
the service people were only there for a year or two. The teachers were probably only there for a year or two. It was hot. There wasn't much around.
There's a garden.
Yes, well, some people had gardens, but not very many, and they weren't much. And they had huge snails and all sorts of pests. No one bothered, and the soil wasn't conducive to growing much. What grew wild, and what didn't grow.
So those houses over there, are they the base houses then?
No. We were about 6 miles from the base house. We were just out in what they call the boonies or the boondocks. And just anyone just went, you just rented where you could. That up on the hill was called Keyhole. I think.
Could you walk across the top of it?
I don't know about across the top, but through it they did. I never went up there, it was full of spiders and everything. The two halves of the island were made quite separately. One is coral and the other one is mountainous and volcanic. This is, I think, down in the volcanic end, the southern end.
Where's this film taken from?
I have no idea, I'm sorry. We used to go round the island on a Sunday afternoon sometimes, and this would be down south somewhere. Umatac, I think, maybe.
So could you swim there then, or was it like Queensland?
It was like Queensland, you couldn't swim. Stonefish and nasty sea slugs and all sorts of stuff. Looks like there's John, there's Dad, and he's wheeling stuff.
He built funny machines even then.
Oh, he always built funny machines. He's wheeling something up the road, tins of paint up to the church or whatever.
On a wheelbarrow, it looks like.
Yeah, on a wheelbarrow. Yeah.
Giant wheelbarrow.
Looks like he's just going. He's taking it into our house, maybe. Now this is down on the beach, and it's probably. I don't know where it is. Could be on the way out to Cocos Island, just maybe. Cocos Island was a little place just off the bottom of Guam, probably only a matter of 300 or 400 yards off, and it was the resort for the island. Service people, I don't think the native Guamanians were allowed, and we went there one day. This is probably us going.
Dad had a tan.
Dad, yes. No one knew about sun cancer or anything then. Yes, we're definitely going out to Cocos Island. It was the only time we ever went in a boat.
Is it daytime? It looks really dark.
Looks like it might be getting, dusk, doesn't it? I can't remember. I didn't think we went at night, but we may have.
Maybe you just went on a friend's boat. That's Dad.
Yeah, that's Dad.
So how old were you then?
It was 22.
So how old was Dad?
Just turned 23.
So Dad's younger than all of us.
Well, certainly.
This is definitely night look.
Yes. Definitely night. Maybe it was the Christmas party or something from Dad's work, the hospital. Could have been something like that we went to. I don't think we did anything just by ourselves like that. Yeah, probably Cocos Island, I think, or maybe going back again. I don't know. There we are. Everyone playing volleyball, all the men. Serviceman's Club, but it was connected to the church. That was the church that ran the Serviceman's Club. Oh, no. Nothing to do with it whatsoever. All the families of the church there, and they just encouraged the fellas that were away from home to come up there and something to do. And if they had their families with them, well, they all went there. It was the social centre.
So what did you do during the day when you were there? Did you work?
No, I didn't work. I was pregnant with you. I spent most of the time throwing up.
In the humidity.
And morning sickness, which lasted all day. The all shapes and sizes of people all joining in. It was always hot. You didn't mind if you got wet because you dried off within 15 minutes.
6 months, so it might have been you just timed it with the bad season.
No dear, it was practically on the equator. It was standard weather, tropical weather, hot and wet. I would have once known half these people, but I don't remember them at all.
So were they all in the Navy, or was there Air Force there as well?
Yes, Army, Air Force. There would have been teachers there from the mainland, government officials there.
Teachers that lived in Guam, or teachers that were with the Army?
Teachers that lived in Guam. Yeah, someone did break their leg. Church picnic this was, obviously. One of their potluck suppers that they always brought. Now that girl there I think was also called Dawn, the pregnant one just going out. It's quite handy just having this just across the road or in virtually our front yard. No one had to find yards or anything. No one had addresses. You described that you had to be at such and such a place, and you said, well, you went down the road and you came to a forked tree and you turned left, and you went down about 100 yards, and then there was a dead tree and you turned left again, and it was the third house that you came to. None of the, or very few of the streets were named.
So where did the locals live then?
In that sort of place, out in the bush.
So, but this was obviously segregated here. There doesn't seem to be any local people here.
No, there were a few Guamanians that came to the church. But it tended to be mostly for the whites from there's Dad.
So maybe he was with you, or this is another thing.
Well, he wasn't at that stage, so this must be something different. This is probably when I arrived on Guam to meet him. So this bit should be chronologically 6 months before the other bit, at least, when we were living on Guam.
Guam is quite picturesque anyway when you show the scenery anyway.
Yes. Be interesting to go back and get some film of how it is now.
Looks like there's butterflies. I don't know if that's the film though. It's like a meadow. I think it might be the film.
That's the cliff in the distance, dear, with all the stuff growing up there, the beach along the bottom.
No, I meant like that when there was a meadow on it.
Yes. This might just be up near Taroggi Beach. I wouldn't like to swear to it. We're obviously driving along here. And probably, yes, coming into Taroggi Beach, I think. It was on Anderson Air Force Base. And you had to be a service personnel or related to be allowed to go there. So the best beach in the island was out of bounds to the local people and most of the population.
That's a nice looking car, a red car. What kind? Was that when you, did you have a car there? Or
No.
you
Oh, we bought an old black Volkswagen when we were married, but at this stage we were being driven around with people. Because I got free accommodation from somebody through the church for about a week, and then I moved in with some other people for a week. So. Can't even remember their name. It was an older couple. I won't say elderly, but
It's nice looking big.
yes, it was. It was very nice. Coconut trees.
Swim here, though, you said.
Well, I never did. I wasn't willing to take the risk. I think your father went in wearing, had to wear runners because you could never risk walking along. And there was stonefish and there was coral that would cut you to pieces and never heal. It's definitely, I'm pretty sure it's called Toroggy Beach, and it was certainly up the very tip of the north end, with the Air Force.
Clean.
Yes, with the Air Force base behind you. It was very white sand everywhere. It was coral, and it was sharp. Don't think you find too many people with bare feet. Certainly not in the water. And the runway for the Air Force just stopped at the top of that cliff, so if it didn't take off, it plopped into the ocean at the end of the cliff. And one did, almost while we were there. There goes your father climbing the coconut tree.
Gosh.
This is how the natives used to do it. Well, I don't know, he was very proud of that trick.
Yeah, he obviously learnt it from him. I've seen that done before, but never by Dad.
And he got right up. There he is, up amongst the coconut tree. Or some other tree. I don't know what it is, but he's up there.
Did you ever climb trees then?
Not on your life.
Well, Tommy would have been happy to go up with him.
See, he's wearing his shoes.
Yeah.
Some sort of tropical fruit. Actually, I think avocados in a few places grew wild. I don't know if they're avocados.
They look like avocados. Those ones do anyway. That's coconut.
Coconuts, they used to plop down and land on you. They're elephant ears, and your father tried to break one off and chewed it with his mouth to get it off because it wouldn't break, and got poisoned, got rash all around his mouth. There's some flowers growing wild, who knows what they were.
So, if it was the same weather all year, how did the plants know when to flower and when to not?
They never stopped flowering as far as I remember. It's tropical plants, they just grew. I mean, the frangipani just made hedges, so did hibiscus, just everywhere. I never went into the jungles, but I was told that people did, and it was just, you know, if you knew where to go, you could sort of stock a florist shop with no worries.
It's funny seeing them all grow. They're all kind of. I recognise a lot of the plants, like that one there, that red one, but I've only ever seen it small in pots. I didn't know it was a tree.
Not 6 foot tall in a jungle situation. We're obviously driving along somewhere. It could be probably still on the base, but it could be out in the local area as well. They had a dairy on Guam, but they didn't have any cows. It was the place where they reconstituted the powdered milk and sent it out to the people.
They called it dairy.
Yep. I think that's coming down into Agana. Which is, yes, there's the cathedral. See the thing in the spire just there?
Yeah.
It's what we'd call a reasonable sized church. This is the capital city of Agana. You can see how busy it is.
How come there's no animals? I thought there'd be cats and dogs and
No, I don't remember ever seeing one. We had a couple of cats, but no one bothered much. Parking wasn't a problem. As you can tell, this is the capital city. Driving along the waterfront.
it stood up pretty well after all these years.
Yeah.
Did you ever replay it much?
No.
Maybe this is the first outing.
This could well be about the first or second outing. A bit south of Guam, a couple of miles south of Guam, was the dock, and we used to sometimes go down there and cut across inland and come up the other side. And just for a drive after tea at night, because everything was so small. Go around the island 3 times in a day and not notice it. Yeah, we were on the back of your father's motorbike there.
Oh, that's what that visor thing
Yeah.
is. You're filming on the back of the motorbike.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you haven't done a bad job of keeping it steady then.
Yeah, there was a little island out there. That's not Cocos Island, but I don't know what it is. This could be down at Umatak again, or Umatic, or whatever they pronounced it. But it could be going up the other way as well, I don't know. It looks more like it's the northern end of the island because it's flatter. And there's one of the, that's either a school or something there. This I think, but wouldn't like to swear to, was across the road. There's one of the trees that grew wild, flame tree, going across down a track on the back of the motorbike again and bouncy. I think we're going around the island. We always went, for some strange reason, anti-clockwise. And this looks like the way we're going.
Oh, maybe this is a tour of the island.
It probably is.
Well, it's got power anyway.
Oh yes, it's got electricity. When the storm didn't go down, and when they didn't need the electricity for a baseball game and take everyone else out in 2-hour batches to give power for the things that they didn't have. They kept the hospitals on, but other than that.
Was it volcanic? There was a big mountain.
Volcanic at the north, at the south, and coral at the north. This is down the south end, obviously. And in those jungles, a Japanese person came out after the war, not knowing the war was over, just after we left in 1970, and since then there's been about another 5 found.
How did they get in there? Did they walk there?
They lived there during the war. It was occupied by the Japanese, and a lot of fighting there. And the Japanese thought it was a great dishonour to be captured.
No, I understand that. Well, I didn't. So it was during the war. So, but I thought the Japanese were against the Americans.
They were. The Americans
Had a base there.
Yeah, well that's why there's so many military there now.
So it's like a little town.
Yeah.
I didn't realise there was actually fighting on the island.
Oh yes, there's tanks everywhere through the jungle. Reclaimed and so forth. We've obviously got off the motorbike.
Sort of monument.
Yep. Could be, there was a monument to one of the great American generals who was honoured there.
Is that baseball? Or they know what it
They
is?
look like they might be doing taekwondo or something, that they would have known what it was then. That could be Cocos Island that we're looking at in the distance. Off the end, see that little island there? Sort of separate, with the waves crashing on it. Wasn't far off the mainland. But I wouldn't like to say it definitely was.
It's quite pretty. I can't believe how clean it is.
Yeah. There's Dad. John. We had a big photograph made somewhere. He was wearing a red and brown and something checked shirt. That was some of the native, you know, that would have been normal people living in those. So they also live in that, we couldn't, here's the sunrise or sunset, bright red. And that looks like it's the end.